Welcome back, everybody, here to your coverage of the Dota 2 Champions League. I am Toby1, bringing your English live stream for today. Let's get my tired eyes off this live stream and get it right into the draft, which is where we're going right now. VG Gaming potential, currently one game down against CDEC Gaming. We took just over 50 minutes to finish up game number 1. So let's see how we go with our second game of the 2-game series, as I welcome in my guy who is doing me an absolute wonderful favor by being here. Because I'm dead tired to the world. Pandago, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing good.
You holding up?
Glad to be here. I'll be here for one more game. I'll be good for a game, and then I'm probably gonna pass out. So we'll see. I believe. I've been much later than this.
I only got back from Bucharest yesterday, and I am in casting some weird-ass schedules over there. Very, very late into the night, and then early flights. So my body clock was so screwed up last night, I got 2 hours sleep. So everything I've been saying right now, I hope it's being correct.
Rough. Yeah, you've been doing good.
Thanks, Pandago. Thanks.
No problem.
Alright, into the game we had Troll Ban out, surprise, surprise. Vengeful Spirit, Wisp, as well as Bat Rider, also into the bans. VG Gaming just go directly in for the Clockwork. So, no delay, they actually decide that Clockwork is worthy of a first pick.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. I mean, it's good. I think it can warrant a first phase pick sometimes, just depending on what your plan is, but it's certainly kind of a weird first pick. Like Lion and Juggernaut, I mean, those are the 2 CDEC heroes are much more common first picks, but maybe they have a plan. Sniper is a good pick to go with it.
Dire team ban.
Yeah. Normally I'm really up for flexibility when it comes to the first part of the draft. And when you reveal who your off lane is going to be, then potentially just one support can be selected. As you give him 5 selections to counter your initiator, practically. That's what happens when you pick the Clockwork up so early. Like there's heroes like Sniper who get picked up. I remember Rise, who I hear is a massive celebrity right now in Dota 2. Who kind of says like Sniper is one of these heroes which you can pick up in the first set. As a first pick, because you don't care if they pick counter picks up against him, because he's still just so strong that it's worth grabbing the hero anyway. But Clockwork, I don't really feel that as much, because if Clockwork gets zoned out, the Clockwork in our last game was very unique because he found levels. He found gold, and his rotations were perfect. The first movements in towards the mid with the hook shots, every single one connected, even if he didn't find a kill on the first one, it still didn't matter. Because he was able to find it on the second or the third.
Yeah. I mean, I guess in this situation, the Clockwork was probably kind of like a block pick. They picked Clockwork with the intention of picking Sniper as well. But if you pick Sniper first, then the enemy team is going to be like, okay, we raped that hero last game with Sniper, or with Clockwork, we'll just do it again. But this way, if they pick Clockwork first and they still really want to pick Sniper, like, I'm assuming that was what their captain's intention was with that pick. And it worked out. Like, Clockwork Sniper is a pretty good pickup in the first 2. Just, if your plan is to pick those 2 first, you probably want to pick the Clockwork first, because if the other team picks Sniper into that, you already have a very strong counter to Sniper, like, setup. And then they go with Lich, which is a good way to get your Clockwork a lot of experience if you're planning to dueling it. I actually don't know if Clockwork really needs that kind of assistance, though. Maybe. I haven't seen Lich in a while, though. I'm interested to see how this pans out. I think he is a really underused support. There's a lot of supports right now that are still strong. They're just kind of underused because they're just not like. Just people aren't used to playing them.
Speaking of one of the supports that everyone is loving this time around is the Chen, the 4th pick up from CDEC Gaming. So that pushing power has started to arrive between the Juggernaut as well as the Chen. And the burst damage from the Lion. That's why I'm not quite sure where the Lich is going to exist. Primarily because he's going to get fingered pretty early on. And with the waveform morphling, the chance of survival is minimal.
Yeah, he's going to want to be way in the back.
Same with Witch Doctor. Like,
Yeah, VG needs some sort of... Some hero besides Clockwork, I think, that can
They need some
also sort of
control.
just create space on the front lines. Yeah.
Because right now I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, you got Paralyzing Cask and Clockwork abilities. That's basically it. And some of this can almost be dodged a little bit, because she's still got Waveform, Replica Jump Out, Omni Slash, so Juggernaut can disappear from time and space. The chain can offer the Hand of God if required. Lion more than likely will be building into that classic Tranquils and Blink Dagger build. So if he doesn't take the initial points of damage, then he's good. In fact, he probably will build a 4-staff instead of him in this game, just because he's up against the Clockwork. I'm just feeling like VG Gaming don't have any real control over the Morphling and the Juggernaut once they get farmed. The only way they could really win this would be by almost pushing the issue on top. So you leave Sniper in the mid, Clockwork on the off, give him the Lich, and then Witch Doctor. I don't want to say Luna, because I feel then like Luna's going to get torn a new one as well. But they need someone that can just push down towers and just win them this game early.
Yeah, which is going to be kind of hard just because of their heroes. Their 5-man right now is honestly weaker than CDEC, and their late game is probably weaker, like you said. They need some sort of miracle hero to salvage this, and I mean that sounds pretty grim right off the bat, but
yeah,
they need to go.
10 seconds remaining.
We're kind of just being realists as far as this game goes.
The draft is looking really heavy in CDEC's favor right now, but I mean a lot of things can happen in Dota. That's the beauty of it. If they have a really good early game and they 5-man, they can definitely run over CDEC. CDEC's lineup, if they have one thing against them, it's greed.
True.
Lion Chen is good early, but Witch Doctor is a really good counter to Chen in the early stages before he gets a lot of creeps. So if they can keep Chen like underfarmed and kind of abuse that, then they could do well. But generally, you want to pick Lich when you know the enemy team is picking some sort of greedy tri-lane or like really hard farming hero, or put him in the mid. But they have a jungler, so it's going to be a dual lane versus a dual lane with Lich, and that's not too great usually. I don't know. I just feel like VG's, I can't see their plan. Like, CDEC has a very obvious plan. They're just like, they got pretty standard heroes and lanes. They have really strong 5-man. They have 2 really strong late game heroes and Morphling and Juggernaut. They can pick people off with, okay, that is what I was kind of thinking along the lines of anti-mage timing. Morphling is pretty good against, I mean, they're both kind of good against each other, but I think that if anti-mage can have a good start and they can just snowball with that, Sniper can hit towers, and Anti-Mage can be like the brunt of the team fight with Lich Armor. He's the kind of hero they need that can just jump in and like, cause havoc in CDEC's lines and make it so they can't just do whatever they want to do. But yeah, I still feel like VG.P is really behind in this draft, and it's going to require them to have a good early game in order for them to really have a strong chance to win this.
Are they actually going to run the Wagga lane?
So what's the Wagga lane?
Well, the Wagga lane is basically Anti-Mage with a slightly aggressive support. And he's done it with Crystal Maiden. And I'm talking like the Wagga lane from 3 years ago, by the way. Like, a long time ago.
I need the deets.
But if you run Lich as well as AM in the mid, it's really difficult for anyone to try and contest it directly unless you're a really solid farmer. And they're going to try and put the Morphling in the mid. That Brewmaster is most definitely meant for the off lane, and that leaves the Juggernaut just to farm up and then carry the game into the later portion of the game. But yeah, I don't mind the mid combo, because it also gives Sniper a lot of space on top. Up against a Brutemaster, he's going to have a great time. Hex, Waveform's got to go so they can get in front and body block him. Maybe realize the cogs are coming, they're not going to commit.
Yeah, that would have been an ambitious attempt, to say the least. But
it does at least reveal the fact that Lion went for Hex first as opposed to going for the stun.
Yeah, which is pretty not good for him. They're going to get rid of this ward, though, which is pretty big.
Yeah, if he looks at the right area.
He might miss it now. No, they're going to wrap back around up there, I think.
Loop around, just that way. It's not even hidden. Well, it's not even hidden.
No, they didn't see that.
It's you got to walk here, anywhere in this area here.
Well, they'll find it eventually, but yeah, I think that's unfortunate. That's really big for the Clockwork, and he needs to have a good start of this game, so that's very nice for him. He also got a creep eaten by Lich for him for the first wave. I do remember the AM Lich mid lane, and I think it should do pretty. It's actually Panda mid, and they're putting Juggernaut in the off lane.
Maybe they realized that that it was going to be the AM in the mid. But the Juggernaut off lane, especially a Juggernaut off lane, who is only got boots, not many consumables to speak of, and built up into Blade Dance as his first ability. It's not even Blade Fury. It's the Blade Dance. He went crit first.
It's kind of weird. He did also can try and trade hits with the Witch Doctor, but even with that, he can't really trade hits with the Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor just has too much damage, and with the assistance from the sniper, like the potential right clicks the sniper can throw out if he overextends is just way too much for him to deal with. He's really praying to the crit gods right now. He needs to get some nice crits for that to pay off. I think Healing Word might have been better because it's kind of just like free cells. Oh, he does have it now.
The bottles arrived in mid. Oh, no, yo, get back. Waiting for the first bot to be on the top lane just because of some weird extension. This Brewmaster's really trying to screw with the anti-mage. He's throwing out Drunken Haze a hell of a lot. Just so anti-mage is struggling to find these last hits.
And it does appear to be working pretty well.
Yeah, well, so far he's managed to get 7 for 2, but most of that CS came before the 1 minute mark. And in the last 60 seconds, he hasn't really achieved that much. Waiting for his bottle. He had no mana because the anti-mage just blinked aggressively just to beat into him. And the Lich would sacrifice plus Frost Blast, causing more problems. Okay, seriously, if Juggernaut gets first blood... No, he's not. He's going to drive the creep wave down. Okay, he might get first blooded. With the frost creep also slowing him. That's first blood to the Witch Doctor.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
That's exactly what they needed. Maybe not onto the Witch Doctor, it would be nicer over on the Sniper. But either way, it's a good start for VG.P.
Yeah, I think these lanes, the way they set these lanes up is pretty much the only thing I was thinking they could salvage the game. I wasn't actually sure they're going to pick AM. I almost said it. I'm like, they need like an AM or a Medusa or something really strong to put mid with, or to like put in the mid lane with the Lich, but they ended up doing it. So yeah, this is really smart by them.
And they're getting everything in the other lanes too. Clockwork's managed to find 12 CS on this
And
off
they
lane.
actually did not find this ward. He actually brought another Sentry ward over. Oh my man, that's oh, he's losing his mind right now. He's gonna watch this replay and kick himself in the face, I can tell you what.
All he's got to do is just walk around. Be thorough, check your corners. Like trying to have a crack at Secret. The body block's not going to work though. It's got battery assault off cooldown as well. So if they tried to dive underneath that tower, it would have spelled death for probably the Morphling, considering he already used Waveform.
Yeah, and he's low on mana, so he can't morph out of strength. It was close though. He was really close to getting the Hex, and I think if he got the Hex, it would have been a kill.
Okay, is he going to see it now? Yeah, you go.
He's actually so sad right now. Oh, look at him. That's the saddest lion ever.
Realizing just how obvious it was.
The funny thing is the Sentry just timed out too. Like, as he's going to check the 4-minute room, if he wouldn't have seen it right there, he wouldn't have even been able to get it.
Double damage.
Well. Brewmaster. I was going to put that DD inside of his bottle. Which might be a little bit annoying for him. But they're coming to gank up on bottom lane. Lion as well as Chen. We kind of forgot about Chen. Like, what's been happening with him? He's up to level 3 at least. And cogs have been used. Battery assault. Oh, he's going to try and turn. In fact, he's turning over on the Morphling. He's every single one to connect on him because there's no waveform. Okay, that's Secret just deciding I'm dead anyway. I'm going to try and go YOLO.
I don't think he would have died if he tried to run away. I mean, it might have. I don't think it was a guaranteed death. If he would have dodged the clap from the Slappy Bear, then he might have lived. But, like, that was... I think that's just too aggressive. He's just pushed up too far against the potential rotations from Lion and Chen. He doesn't need to be... His other two lanes are doing really well. Like, Juggernaut... I guess Juggernaut's 4, but they're still, like, they got the first blood, and they're getting a lot of farm in those other two lanes. I don't think he needs to be doing really aggressive plays on Morphling like that. He just needs to get his experience, get 6, and then he can start doing kills. This is actually a rough game for Clockwork. That's what happens when you first pick it, right? There's not too many heroes he can actually gank too well with his hookshot. He can kill Lion, Chen maybe, if he catches him without creeps. Other than that, He's gonna have a sad time.
Really, he's just meant to be the distraction anyway.
Yeah, honestly, against those heroes, I'd like to see him. If Lich isn't gonna do it, he needs to get something like, I don't know if Blade Mail is that good for him this game. Oh, they're actually going on the morph, but he has waveforms. Not gonna do much.
They're just forcing him to expend his mana more than anything else. Like, the Lich coming down gives a little bit more of a presence. The bottom rune's going to be scouted up by this Wild Wing, and in fact, the Morphling's already sitting right on top of it, so much needed bottle charges for him. The Clockwork could consider trying to run him down, but there's not much point to it. But I do like the fact they give the AnyMage all the space in the world. I kind of actually don't want to see Lich come back up for now. In fact, look where Clockwork is quite visibly walking for the 6-minute rune on top, which he's not going to find. Maybe he's looking for an opening on the Juggernaut. There's no
I don't think he knows what he's doing.
There's
He got lost.
There's no vision for the Radiant side, so the Brewmaster's backing up. But it's just a solo Lich now on the bottom lane too. So you can give him a quick level 6.
They saw him when he looked for the rune right. They have that word up on the rune spot that saw him for a second. And they're like, what is that guy doing? They pinged him like 30 times. Blue was like freaking out. I think they might have thought that he was 6, and then they checked and he said I wasn't sick, and like 6. Why is this guy ganking with that 6? But Panda has 7 charges on his wand, so it's pretty safe.
Chen and Lion are coming up to the top in the cover of smoke. Very small choke point through that tree line, however. As they search for the kill over on Yang, who's getting very aggressive on the Juggernaut. Starts to spin up. The Shrapnel will start to drop down as well, but Yang, the stuns, the control, the nukes, everything required for CDEC to get the kill on the sniper. That's throwing away a big advantage. He's their highest net worth.
Yeah, that was huge. You gotta try and sniff out those kind of baits. That was really, really obvious one. Like the way Juggernaut just kind of walked up to him and is like spun on top of him. I don't think he's gonna sacrifice himself that easily with pre-level 6. So yeah, that was. Even if it was just lying there, I think that would have been enough for them to kill him, maybe, as long as Witch Doctor didn't rotate over. But they had Chen and Lion.
AnyMage starting over on this Brewmaster. He's got 9 stick charges available with the hot Clockwork hook shot in and the assassination. Brewmaster, he got enough for the split, but he didn't get it off in time. They committed both Mana Void as well as the assassination to stop that split from happening.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if it was the battery assault from Clockwork or the Mana Void that. Yeah, I think the Mana Void might have actually interrupted it, which would be pretty nice.
For me, like, my eyes with... I'm not going to trust my eyes right now anyway. But it kind of looked like he got half of the split off.
Yeah, it did.
For a moment he vanished. Juggernaut, real trouble for him. He's way, way too far up. Shrapnel after Shrapnel. The paralyzing cast has slowed him down a little bit further. And Yang, with both Face Boots and a Mask of Madness freshly arrived, does the work while her bottom lane, waveform out. Pushing Morphling back off that tier 1 tower.
How are we coming along? Lion's almost 6, which is really nice, because if he can get 6 with the Panda can blink clap pretty much anyone on VG.P except for AM, and they can just finger him and they'll die pretty much.
You are
Lich
right,
is 6.
Because there's no instant disable up against the Brewmaster, so that normal fear you have as a Brewmaster with the blink clap, oh, I'm never going to get my split off, doesn't really exist. Not unless you're on top of an AnyMage who has Manta style, then you'd have fear, you just don't have mana to do it.
He'd have to be pretty fast though to you before you can get your ult off.
Yeah.
With the Manta. So if you just blink like if you blink like right on top of him and he like surrounds you with illusions right away, yeah, but I think other than that, you'll probably get it off. There's smoke kicking here. There's smoke roaching, probably. We'll see what Morphling does. He's just pretending like he's casually checking the rune. Oh, they're gonna try and wrap behind on mid and push the tower first, which I like. I think they actually could get the smoke roach off here if they wanted to, but they're gonna take the free Lich kill instead.
Yep. Stun, aggressive ward behind the tower. They can see whatever support's gonna be coming their way. And with the double Wild Wings, they can just push. Especially when the catapults also arrived. And the Omni Slash, man, he's itching to do it, this Juggernaut. throws down the healing ward. They use the Hand of God already to keep the creeps alive, who are the ones still tanking up the tower. The Juggernaut just wants to jump out for the ulti. With the combination of Finger of Death from Lion, that would have worked wonders, but the Lions TP'd back, and they didn't take out the T1 tower. I don't know if that's a little bit too much respect going the way of VG.P with that fallback. Still feel like I could have forced the issue.
It was dangerous. They were trying to bait the sniper. They were trying to bait the healing ward out, because the person on VG.P who has to kill a healing ward off his sniper, he really has to kill it if he's going to stop the pushes from happening, because the Jug Chen combo is really hard for VG.P to kill, unless they can get rid of that healing ward early, and he just didn't go for it, and the line TP'd out. I don't know if that was just they were going to sacrifice the tower, or he just believed that... Yeah, that's kind of weird that CDEC backed up, though, without the healing ward being killed. Still had like half duration. I think they could have at least gotten it lower. They might not have been able to get it.
Well, in the meantime, Brewmaster managed to find his Blink Dagger up on top, so just after the 11th minute mark. The only Drunken Haste is over at the creep wave, not the Anti-Mage himself. And the Anti-Mage is going not directly for the Battle Fury, because he still built treads, but it's Battle Fury Anti-Mage, so nothing out of the ordinary as far as the call from VG.P.
Yeah, he's closing on it too. The really nice thing with this last pick AM is CDEC really only has Lion to deal with it, and until Lion gets a blink, which he's actually getting pretty close. He's been farming a lot, and the towers are helping him. Well, not he hasn't been farming a lot, but he's been getting kills in the towers. Once he gets the blink, AM's going to be a lot more careful, even with the Manta. Because he can get bursted down by just like a Lion plus a Jug. I guess actually... all he can really die to it in the early stages of the game is Lion and Jug. I may be morphling with Lion and Finger as well. Yeah, that would kill him too.
VG.P, they might be falling for this one. They find the Lion, the cogs are dropped. The Chen army is now right on top of the Clockwork, and the Omni Slash, he gets pushed back. There's not enough mana right now for the Juggernaut to let his ulti go. Just enough for his spin to get away to save the Morphling. Okay, well that's an interesting replicate. Jumping in on top of the Brewmaster, who's already got the split going. He takes so much damage from the Battery Assault. The Earth Ruling will get back out to get him. The defensive cogs, Finger of Death, not enough to kill the Clockwork. They need a little bit more damage. But they cannot inflict it, not with the Sniper. Slowly chipping him out. The Hand of God, so they cancel the assassination. There's no kill to come from it anyway. We go 3-3.
Wow.
A lot being thrown, but no deaths.
That was crazy how much just went down and no one died. Well, I'd say that would be in VG.P's favor though, right? Because their aim was just casually farming that whole time and no one died in either way. VG.P is going to have... oh, Morphling actually...
yeah, he's in a lot of trouble. He's going to try and TP out of this one. The assassination's on the way in. Same with the Brewmaster. Just jumps in. There's your Omni Slash to kill off the Sniper. Juggernaut was denied that before in the mid. He didn't have the vision of the high ground, if people were wondering why that happened the way it did before. Secret. Spin. Juggernaut staying with him. That's a lot of burn damage. Just slowly coming their way. The Juggernaut has been taking the tower the entire time. But drops his healing ward. They take out the tower. They take out the Clockwork. And CDEC have just gained momentum in a game where they're running Chen, Brewmaster, as well as a Juggernaut. Good luck to VG.P.
Yeah, that was a nice send home. Chen sent Juggernaut home, and he came back with a TP, and that's why he was able to run up and kill that sniper there. I don't think the sniper was expecting him that quickly.
Tier 2 towers getting worked. But CDEC don't want to try and just stick around. In fact, the Chen army, nah, they can't pull it all back. It's only one Hellbear that gets saved. But VG.P are able to repel CDEC's push. But they're already moving to a different lane. Up towards top. Congratulations to Anti-Mage for now having a Battle Fury, but unfortunately for him, this Lion's also getting very close to having a Blink Dagger, so Battle Fury is not going to help him at all. It's going to help him even less if he loses his Tier 1 and Tier 2 tower on top. Because then there's no control over the VG.P jungle.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, they need to get some trades out of this. They're trying to push mid, but they're doing it very slowly. I think in this sort of situation, AMs are trying to assist with the push. We need to get at least one of these tier 1s down. But but they're not going to get either. They're going to get some damage on it, but CDEC's going to rotate back. They have Panda Sweat, so they can actually fight this really easily.
It's kind of fun to see aggressive. Why is he just throwing Drunken Haze onto the creep wave as opposed to throwing it over onto the sniper or someone else like that? It's the second time when I've seen him in range of a hero where he could have done it, but he chooses the creep wave over the hero.
I guess he knows that if he Drunken Hazes the sniper, he's just going to back off anyways. So maybe not worth it. I'm going to reduce the creep damage on him by a little bit, or on the tower. I don't know.
Alright, so, CDEC. All ultis are up. Blink daggers are up on both Lion as well as Brewmaster now. And there's a smoke over on Chen with the mech and the Hand of God. I think it's time to kill. The Linkosphere is almost done on the Morphling as well. Ult and all plus the Perseverance just requires the recipe. Something coming out for Jug, it's just the Quelling Blade. Phase Boots and Drums only on a Jug, but he's an off-laner Jug with 2 deaths to his name, so that's still quite a good result for him. And Brewmaster. Drunken Haze on the Anti-Mage. The Chen army showing itself as well, but the sniper, he's checking the trees with the shrapnel. But CDEC are playing a split game. They got the Morphling down on bottom, adding pressure into the tier 2 tower, actually forcing out a shrapnel to come from the sniper. They still want to fight 5 on whatever they can get in the mid. And Anti-Mage has in fact left them. He doesn't want to join him at all. They're going to sacrifice their tier 2 tower in mid for what appears to be money for Vladimir's offering on top. It's drum time. Blink, clap, roll it up. Brewmaster, still got the split. The Paralyzing Castle helping the case. And in comes Lion. That's a good ulti from the Witch Doctor. Taking out the Lion. The sniper still did go down. Lion's last gift to the world. And CDEC backing up a little bit. Anti-Mage. He'll just blink himself away to safety. Well, the rest of CDEC, well, they took the tower. They got their objective, so they're backing out.
Yeah, VG.P really need to have more of an advantage, I think. They need their aim to be like ahead, and he's just maintaining farm with the Morphling basically. The best thing that he could do, so he's got his Vlad's Battle Fury. If they could somehow try and get Roshan away from CDEC before they're able to get it, that would be pretty big. Because at some point here, CDEC has a really good Roshan lineup between Juggernaut and Morph, and they have Chen Creeps to tank. They could do it pretty easily, but VG.P, I don't really know how they could steal it. It'd be really hard. It'd take them a while, even with AM. He's going, maybe once he gets his Yasha, he could try and steal it. They're actually smoking probably him right now. Yeah, they're just gonna run right into the jungle. Lion has a blink.
And just right blinked into him. Oh, so blink, hex, follow-up stun. Try and chain it up as long as they possibly can, and realize they didn't actually have that long. Hence Omni-Slash had to be committed. But
oh, that smoke gank worked out pretty much perfectly. They're just gonna push the top off of that.
That's exactly what you're searching for. Make sure the Anti-Mage is down. And it's not just the time that it's not just getting the kill, it's the fact that he cannot farm for 50 seconds. So he loses his entire jungle. The tier 2 tower will take a little bit of chip damage, which again, as we were saying before, control your dire jungle when you got an Anti-Mage Battle Fury. But they may even lose it.
Yeah, they should be able to take this tower here because the Chen Creeps are coming up. And Morphling has his replicate up there. There's no way that VG.P is going to contest this. They really needed to get these towers. These two, having tier 1s alive at this point is just really bad. VG.P needs that money desperately. Like, if Witch Doctor had that money, he'd be like 1,000-ish gold off of his Ags, as opposed to 2,000, and an Ags on Witch Doctor would be huge. I feel like he's also not really focusing on farming enough. He needs to get more levels. They're just kind of wandering around, not staying in XP range of the creep waves, and they're trying too hard to avoid getting ganked, basically. Well, CDEC's been pretty much staying together as 3 or 4 the whole game, and then Morphling just does his own thing.
Which
if you're not
going to
fight,
with
you have to split it. Yeah, true.
He just leaves a replicate with it, so that's always the beauty of the Morphling. You don't have to be there to be there.
True.
Kind of similar to Spectre, but a little bit more difficult.
Not quite as like global,
Yeah.
You can be there pretty often. Yeah.
As a DD in the
VG.P is just
Brewmaster.
playing really passively again. I've noticed they just
Yang.
play afraid, and it's kind of like last game.
Yang farming up the ancients. They finger and clap him.
That sentry is like actually 2 centimeters away from that ward. That's
yeah,
unfortunate.
That's the reason why it all happened. Secret, try and battle himself inside the trees. He does have a hookshot available, and he's going to use it at the perfect time. The same time the Brewmaster blinked himself down. So the Clockwork gets to be saved. But that double damage rune still on the Brewmaster. They're going to inflict as much damage into the tier 2 tower. I think this one's gone as well. VG.P don't have anything they can battle against CDEC with at the moment. Because they're still up against Omnislash, they're still up against Split, Hand of God. And the only thing which is on cooldown right now is that Finger of Death from the Lion, but he's still a scary factor when you take into consideration that Blink Hex stun. Because that buys all the space in the world for the rest of CDEC to go to work.
Yeah. This is why we were so concerned for VG.P in the drafting phase, right? We're like, what's your plan? Because they don't really have good pickoff. So if you don't have good pickoff, you want to be able to either outfarm or at least outfight in 5v5s if you have to 5-man. Prefer 5v-manning is not generally that strong in this meta, but if you have to, you can make it work. Like, everything about their lineup is pretty much weaker than VG.P's because their Clockwork can't really pick people off. And they ended up having him as the only initiator. Like, Lich's teamfight is pretty weak against the Chen and Panda and all those units and the heals. Witch Doctor is okay, but he needs his Ags to really shine. And then you just have, like, the last pick farming AM, and that's what they're, like, putting all their, like, banking their game on. And he just hasn't been able to farm enough because, like, they haven't been able to even fight at tier 2s, which, if you can't fight the enemy team at this point in the game at tier 2 towers, it just proves how much like weaker your lineup is.
Well, right now they're looking at, I don't know if they're really looking to fight on this top. But either way, they're going to have to come back. Because Shiki again is just forcing this bottom lane. Grabs a copy of the Sniper. So if he does feel like he has to get out of this one, he can do it. Sniper does not want to see that copy survive longer. So it is brought down. Yeah, it does really feel like VG.P is searching for something on this top. With the fresh Observer Ward down, in fact I saw the Lion as well as Juggernaut there. Yeah. They don't want to have anything to do with it. But CDEC wants something to do with them. They smoke up, they moved up through the mid, smoked just behind their own tier 1 tower, so it wasn't scouted out. And the Observer Ward knows exactly where this Witch Doctor is. So it's just quick, pick, clap, and then slice dice. Too easy.
It was the exact same song as before too, except they just got Witch Doctor instead. Which I guess isn't quite as good as the AM, but I'm sure they'll settle. I mean, if AM sticks around for much longer, they might be able to get him too. Hex is still up.
He just blinks into the trees.
Him.
It's the Clockwork. I gotta just threw the stun out in the wrong direction. See, the Cogs realized he was wrong. But it still wasted time for VG.P. The fact they were just babysitting on the top for the AM. That was all that really felt like.
Haste.
Well, they found another opening, or have they? They'll need to get that Blink Hex off straight away. They do have Finger of Death though. Blink, where's that stun? Gonna connect. Finger, Omni Slash, they commit it all. Goodbye AM.
By my horns, you'll not live to see that.
This Juggernaut, he just needed more farm at this point. Now that Lion is level 11, and Juggernaut's got some levels and damage items, it's just, if he gets caught out, they're like following this AM perfectly. I guess they saw him, I think, right? They saw him head towards their jungle with the
He walked
side
underneath
shot.
the Observer Ward, which is at the Secret Shop.
That ward got them 2 pretty huge kills, and it was barely missed by a sentry. Sometimes things like in Dota, it's ridiculous how just inches, or not even inches, but like centimeters can make the difference.
Wow, how quick do they commit? The Blink Clap split. Fortification has to be used by VG.P here. Without the Animage, they're not really, well, I don't think even with the Animage, they're lucky to fight this one. It will be the assassination on the Morphling. He's got the Aegis Immortal. That's why they're forcing this. They want to be able to pick up a Rax. They go on the melee. They're going to back out of this one, which means that damage is not maintained. It will regenerate over time. As the Animage is coming back to life again, CDEC make the wise choice. Just get the hell out of there. Don't take any more risks than you need to.
Yeah, they did get the tower though, so that's gone forever. But yeah, CDEC this seems like just the exact same as last game. They've got pretty good control in the game. They got good wards up everywhere. Their wards are just dodging all these sentries. I mean, they've had vision all over VG.P and they haven't been dewarded at all.
Well, they're gonna have.
I mean,
like the fact you've also just had a gem picked up by Chen, that vision game's gonna go even more in favor of CDEC.
Yeah, this is pretty much when CDEC sealed the game last time. They picked up the gem, completely shut off VG.P's vision, and once they did that, VG.P just huddled in their base and did nothing for like 20 minutes. I feel like in this situation it's even worse because they can't really protect their high ground, and AM can die if he goes out past a ward. So he's going to be really afraid to run around the map without like any vision of anyone. Because if he gets caught by, we saw as before, Juggernaut and Lion can kill him just with both their ults, and if he dies, it's just game over pretty much. So yeah, VG.P's playing in a very stressed position right now. And this kind of just comes back to the draft and that mid fight. VG.P, I feel if they got ahead, they could have been like contended this game, but even if they're just even, I feel like they're behind in this game. They needed to be actually winning the game.
Well, at least they got one upside. Aegis Immortal is now reclaimed, so there's no more advantage from that at least. But also seeing the smoke coming in from CDEC, they're looking to find a different type of advantage. Blink forced up. It's a level 2 Finger of Death. And the clap. Oh, where's it going to come? Animage is running away, and they see the sniper. They find both, in fact. Sniper triggers the BKB, but they're killing off the Animage. The Omnislash can't reach up to the sniper, as Clockwork did manage to get in through the rear. So the Lion does go down, allowing that hook shot in, allows Sniper just to get the last points of damage in. But the Animage for a Lion trade-off, worth it any day. Because now that's going to mean they can push in through bottom. The Cogs, a little bit of chip to the Morphling as he just waveforms up. Beats into the Lich. He's got Mana Style available, and Brewmaster goes for the split. He's only the filter, however. They managed to get a buyback out by the Animage, and all they need is this melee racks. If they take that and back out without any kind of casualties, it's a victory here. The Earth Ruling taking a little bit longer to get away from the base. And the Paralyzing Cast not going to connect to the Brewmaster, and Chen can drag his army back the old-fashioned way. Hand of God keeps the life up. Perfect fight there from CDEC. Every advantage they wanted, they just took.
Yep. Now they'll probably just wait out the next Aegis and push for the next racks. And once they're up 2 racks with this lineup, there's almost no way they'll lose. I mean, even up 1, it's already been an uphill battle. It requires some very big throws from CDEC at this point. Because it's not like their lineup is worse late game by any means either. That's why I was saying VG.P really need to be ahead. Like, they had a timing window with AM and they've missed it. So I don't know what he can do now. I honestly would not know what to do at this point if I was on VG.P. And I was trying to like plan how we could win the game. It's kind of like they got a gem, which is probably a good start. Getting rid of wards, finding pickoffs, but what do they pick people off with? They don't have any sort of pickoff hero. They have Clockwork, and who can he pick off? I guess if he has like 3 or 4 people with him, he might be able to kill the Jug. Maybe the Panda if splits down. Yeah, well, the Panda if splits down. And like the Lion and Chen, but you can't even kill their like hard carry who's just been free farming the whole game, so.
I think the advantage of VG.P, which they didn't have in game number 1, as you said, like, it's exactly the same situation. VG.P could just be starved inside their own base. But the advantage is the fact that CDEC has a lineup that wants to push. It doesn't want to sit back. You already took out the bottom rack, so you know you got an advantage there. The next objective will obviously be top. So you know they're going to come for you. So sit back inside your base. Keep the farm coming. Make sure Sniper's looking good. Give as much as you possibly can to Animage. Let him do this kind of split pushing thing until potentially he's dead. I'm currently watching this one on the bottom. With claps and troll traps, he'll blink away again. The Lich died on top. A Juggernaut kill was an Omni. He did commit the Omnislash with the Lich. Yeah, but VG.P, they can fight from inside their base this time around. Which they couldn't do before. Just because they know CDEC's going to come for them.
True. But I think the CDEC will wait for the Aegis before they come. And if they have an Aegis, I don't really know how
10 seconds to wait.
VG.P. Yeah, they just scouted it like with the Jug Illusion 2 seconds ago, so it might be a little bit before they check again. Or he'll just camp a Chen creep in there, which is probably they're going.
That's the perfect
And
time.
there's
Reveals Roshan's up. And bring in the cavalry. In fact, if you've got a double damage rune over on the Brewmaster to help out with this will not take long at all. I'm wondering too if it's worthwhile for CDEC just to go in through bottom. Force a team fight. It makes more sense to go up through mid, but when you've got like the super creeps already pushing up the bottom lane, yeah, just going through mid. That makes more sense.
VG.P can't fight them, but if they go through bot, they won't have the creep wave because the VG.P will probably push it out before they get there.
They've got Lion.
So.
That's what they've got. I mean, sorry. And that's also the gem onto the deck. Giving the cover fire is the Morphling. So VG.P are now up against 2 gems. A Morphling with Mana Style after Brewmaster jumps in. Collapses Drunken Haste is over on Yang. But they got no chain frost. There's nothing really there.
This is like his redeeming grace right here. He needs to get a big Axel.
That's a nice hook shot. That's also a very quick death. Because there's no one else to follow it. It was jumping for the sake of jumping, and even if Andy Mage believes he can take out this top Rax, the rest of his team is already dead. The Courier is in fact being killed as well from the Dire side, and there's the GG call. That had the Mana Style that was flying in as well. GG. Game was good, game was golden. But game belongs to CDEC. 2-0, their favor.
Yep. They played really well. They had some pretty solid plans and executed them, and I just feel like VG.P, they just felt lost most of the time. I think they individually, like, they played okay, but their just overall game plan wasn't there. They just didn't have anything. Let's pick these heroes, let's farm, try and run around the map some, hope things work out.
It really didn't at the end of the day. It really didn't. I'm hoping to see a little bit more of a closer game coming up next. It's not over yet. I do want to give a big shout out to Pandago for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure, man.
Yeah, I had a good time. Thanks for having me. I'm going to go to bed. I wish you luck with your casts.
I'll try not to go to bed. Yeah, so stay tuned, everyone. We'll be back in a couple moments' time when it'll be LGD going up against a CDEC. That is the next matchup and our last matchup for the day for the D2CL. We'll see you back here in just a moment.